Welcome to the Back Nine Six Pack with Mitch and Justin. Let's roll.
Hello and welcome to episode 18 of the Back Nine Six Pack. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. We are back.
Finally, back in the studio.
Back in the booth.
Felt like so long. I was like, oh shit, we gotta check this, make sure this stuff works still. So,
yeah,
3 weeks.
Hopefully it is working. Let's put it that way.
No, I think it is.
Congratulations are in order. The season of champions right here.
Yeah, knocked another goal off the list this weekend, winning the club championship.
Do you get like a parking spot or a soup named after you?
Know,
or anything
I
cool?
I brought up before I won. I thought we should have a parking spot or something. Maybe next year they'll get one. They don't. They don't have one. Let's crack a celebratory.
Celebratory.
That was my first club championship win. I think I've said on here before that I played my first year as a member out there, and then I hadn't played the last 3 years because we had a neighborhood golf outing that I wanted to play in, and it just happened to land on the same weekend. Finally, that got moved, so I was able to play this year. And yeah.
Tidy 142 over 2 days, 2 under.
Yeah, the first day was very uneventful. Took care of the par fives. Had a couple
home 68.
Had a couple dumb bogeys. Stupid stuff. Probably shouldn't have been bogeys, but there was no I took care of the par fives and had a couple birdies on other holes, but there was no excitement. The second day turned out to be quite the opposite. Grinding would be the perfect word to put on it. Just got off to a hot start again, birdied the first hole like I did on Saturday. Bogey 2 again on the red course. Bogeyed it the day before too. I don't know what it is about that hole. It's in my head. I think at this point the tee shot is. Then doubled 4. Airmail to green, went into hazard. Took double, so I'm 2 over through 4. No one in our group's really blazing any trails or anything like that, so it wasn't too costly to get off to a little bit of a slow start. Parred the next hole, and then on the par 5, hit my second shot in the hazard. I get up and down, I chip it to 8 feet, make the putt. It felt like at that point, when I had some scoreable holes coming up, I was like, all right, I feel like that got us back on the tracks. And then I birdied 7, birdied 8, parred 9, and I just kind of coasted after that. I parred 10, I birdied 11, parred 13, parred 14, parred 15, parred 13, parred 14, get to 15. I had made a bet with someone that I could get it to 600 total. I'm 500 total right now, as you know, on the white course. Outside the par 5, those last 3 holes you can make birdies on them. 18 definitely is a birdie hole, but I knew where the pin was, and I was like, it's going to be into the wind. The pin's all the way in the back. It's going to be a tough birdie today. So I'm like, I got to birdie par 5. If I can get a birdie the par 5, I know, the way I was hitting it, I'm like, I can par the last 3 holes. And took driver out, hit it into hazard.
Right or left?
Left.
Okay.
Had some spotters up there, a couple members. Shout out Jeff Stein. Came out. We're watching. Mark in my group had a couple of his buddies out there watching. So they saw it go in. They found the ball pretty easily. I'm in there and I'm like, okay, my drop's going to be crap. I have a tree right in front of me if I take a drop. So I'm going to have to chip out sideways regardless, probably. So I'm like, I might as well just try to get this out and save a shot by. I'm going to have to hit it sideways regardless.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the greatest line to hazard. The ball was kind of below my feet, but I was like, I know with a wedge I can get it up over the hill and get it out in the fairway. But I knew I needed to take a lash at it. And this thing came I caught a flyer out of the hazard, ball a foot below my feet. Flies over the fairway into the heather on the other side of the fairway.
Great.
We almost didn't find it. We ended up finding it, taking unplayable, hit it up the fairway, missed the green, chunked the chip, chipped on one putted for an 8.
Yes.
So there went the 6 under bet. But then, at that point, like there was a couple guys in front of us that were like 6 shots behind me, and they looked like they were playing pretty good. And I'm like, okay, not that I thought like maybe one of them would shoot in the 60s because it was pretty windy the second day. It was 15 mile per hour winds, sometime gusting up to 20. It wasn't playing exactly easy, but I was like, all right, we got to just focus. And it was a grind the last couple holes. I had to make a 5-foot par putt on 16. I had to make about a 6-foot par putt on 17. And then I had a really tough 2-putt on 18. But come in, find out I won by 5. But that 8, I saw Jeff there, and he, like, as soon as he saw me, like, and I hit it, and it went over I looked up, and he didn't even need to say anything. Like, I could see his disappointment written on his face. And, like, he's not one, everybody, like, people that listen to this that know Jeff, like, he's not one to do that, but, like, I could feel his judgment coming down the hill. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you probably have, like, an 8 or 9 shot lead right now, and you're going to, like, if you take a 10 or 11, you're going to piss it all away in one hole. And he brought up some good points. He's like, if you chip it out sideways after taking your penalty shot, you probably take 8 out of play. You're probably looking at 6 or 7. Like, that's hindsight's 20/20.
Sure.
But yeah, it was. I tell people this. I actually hit the ball better the second day than I did the first day. Hit 11 greens the first day and shot 68. Hit 15 greens yesterday and shot 74, but that's golf. But the stat that I kind of went back and when I was trying to like judge my rounds and stuff like that and judge how I played over the weekend, and I kind of knew this because I was, I knew how I was putting. I was putting the ball pretty well, and I could feel that. But like I didn't know where it kind of landed stat wise. But the biggest stat that stuck out to me, I was 32 of 33 inside 10 feet.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're also crazy for tracking that.
But, like some of those were like, okay, like I hit it up to like 6 inches. But I mean, that's inside 10 feet. But I did make a considerable amount of like 5 to 7 footers.
Right, yeah.
Like some of those were birdies, right? But some of those were pars. Like, I mean, I putted the ball really, really well. Honestly, if I didn't putt well, I probably would have been, those 5 shots would have been probably pretty close.
And that's probably the difference, right? I mean, those are, anytime you have like a 5 to 7 footer, it's usually like some sort of momentum building putt, right? You're either saving a par or you're making a good
Yeah,
birdie.
so I went back. I had missed, the one putt I had missed was about 8 feet. It was like 8 or 9 feet. I went back and I was kind of trying to judge, like, okay, like let's take out the tap ins. Mm-hmm. So I like moved it back to 5 feet. Like, and this is all guesstimation, right? Like, I don't know if I was actually 5 feet, but I've got a pretty good judge of what 5 feet was. So I was 14 of 15 from 5 feet and 5 feet to 10 feet.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So, I mean, that'll get it done pretty much any time. And you throw out some of the stupid holes and the 8, and then I'm probably 6 or 7. I'm probably like 7 or 8 under. But I'm glad I finally won it. And shout out to all the people that were stayed, and we were the last group. We teed off at 12. They stayed and watched. Huge turnout this year. Usually it's not that big of a turnout. We get like 30 to 40 guys total. I think we had close to 70 this year.
Nice.
A lot of guys stayed around and watched, and genuine congratulations and stuff like that. We got the best membership. So shout out to everybody. You know who you are, but I appreciate everybody hanging around for the support of me and the guys that were in my group and the guys behind, in front of us. I thought it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's sweet. While we're on shout-outs, we can shout out Cody. Won the B flight with a 155.
He did.
Solid 2 days of golf out of him.
He bogeyed I think the last 3 or 4 holes the second day.
God, just trying to get it in. I feel that. Also, shout out to some of the other guys from our Elks Hackers group chat that competed. I know Matt and Joe were in the championship flight with you.
Yeah. Yep. I played with.
Did Wes play? Wes?
He did not. No. Okay. I played with Joe the first day. he made some incredible par putts on Saturday. But when they were for birdie, just couldn't get him to drop. But he played well. I mean, this is his first tournament. I didn't know that. This is his first like competitive round of golf, and 74 is pretty good for your first competitive round of golf.
Yeah.
And then I played with Matt yesterday. He didn't play well yesterday, but played pretty well the first day and shot 73. So
nice. Well, like I said, we're in a championship season. You got a title to defend this weekend.
Yeah,
you and
right
Ryan.
back at it. Back on the road.
Yeah, back for the McGonigal, which is a sweet 27-hole member. We got, 9 holes of alternate shot, 9 holes best ball, and 9 holes of two-man scramble.
Yeah.
With handicaps involved, so, you get like your minus 0.6 shots here.
Yeah,
and
or
there
minus
and whatever.
0.1 or whatever it is. I think the scramble, you get like, 25% of your handicap?
I forget what the rules are. But.
I think best ball, you get like 60. And then alternate shot, I think you get like 70. Because alternate shot's really hard. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it's
fun.
modified.
It is modified. That does help you.
But
Yeah.
things can go sideways pretty quickly, even in modified best ball.
100%. But yeah, just an awesome day. Like I said, 27 holes. Fantastic time.
Yeah. You guys had a front row seat to last year.
We did. We'll hopefully have another front row seat this year, but maybe the roles will be reversed. That's the hope for us.
I'll be back at Waffle House this year.
Oh, man. I forgot that's the anniversary of that picture.
Yeah, well, I'll be back there this year. Probably like 7 a.m. I'll sit in that same seat and eat my Waffle House.
We'll see if you're alone this year.
I don't want any of you fuckers showing up. I want to eat it by myself.
I'm going to come in there. I'm going to sit in your seat before you get there. Get there before you do.
But, no, this is, look, the Stampede's obviously the premier event, but for us, but McGonigal, man, it's a good tournament. I like the format.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we do like a mini McGonigal for the Turkey Open in November. Yeah. It's just fun. It's not all scramble. There's some portions you get to hit your own ball. Like it's a good mix of I guess, formats. So
yeah, it's like 3 of the, I guess, premier team formats you can play. So
yeah,
and it's ones you don't always get to play. I mean, how often do you play an alternate shot? Not very often. So.
No. That's my favorite format for like team golf is shows your true colors and shows how good of a teammate you are. As far as like just having some patience with people. And I think we always start on alternate shot, don't we? I think because we played together.
Trying to think where we started.
We've played together the last 2 years, haven't we?
I think so.
And so we've always started on like 5 or 6, which is the alternate shot. 5 or 6 on the Reddit, which is always alternate shot. Because I remember 2 years ago we started on 6. And remember I hit that good T-ball and then we couldn't find nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
So I know
it's all coming back to me now.
I actually don't remember where we started at last year. I think we started on alternate shot. I think we started on like 3 or 4.
It had to be 3 or 4. That sounds familiar to me too. Because I know it wasn't 5.
No, it wasn't 5. It wasn't that far along. But, honestly, I would prefer to start on alternate shot. I know people would probably like, I want to run into it. But I don't know how. We've kind of talked about how we feel about this format is alternate shot. You just got to keep your shit together, right?
Yeah.
Like, just figure a way to like shoot even par, and anything better than even par is a bonus.
I think the worst part is because you start, it's like a shotgun, right? So like you said, you start on 3 or 4. So after you do those 6 holes or whatever, then you go do your scramble, then you do your best ball, and you got to come play like 2 or 3 holes of alt shot at the end.
Like get your mind
and
right.
You're like,
fuck. Yeah.
So I don't know. For me, I think I'd want to start scramble because I feel like scramble's the one where you're like, oh yeah, we're going low. And every single time it just like is the one for us, at least, that we've struggled the most with.
So here's where I disagree with that. I don't want to start on a format where I feel like I have to make birdies. I want some runway to kind of find my swing.
Yeah.
And then get into like, okay, now we've kind of scratched it together. We're even par, whatever. Now it's time to make birdies. We've got 4 or 5 hole warm up. Now it's time. Alternate shot, you're expected to not make birdies, right? Like you're expected to make pars. So you don't really feel like you're missing a lot if you're making pars.
I get that.
I feel like if you start out on scramble and you're like fuck, dude, like I just warmed up and like now I'm good. But damn, we just wasted 3 scramble holes and we're even par. You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know why, but the scramble always seems like that. Like you said, that's the one you're expecting birdies, and for whatever reason, has been the one we struggled with. At least when I've played in that format.
At least from what I found every year, I'm like, okay, like it's gonna end up being different this time. But it's like every year, it's the teams that play pretty good during the scramble. They might not be the lowest scramble score, but they make some birdies, right? Like whether that's 3 or 4 under, they kind of get it under par. The team that also they play well in the best ball.
Best ball is where we've been.
The best ball is where you collect your birdies. You know, you guys getting shots. You know, you're playing a course that I think there's the 9 holes that has the most birdies, which is the blue side.
Sure,
a lot of birdie holes out there, shorter par 5s. You know. That's where you got to collect your birdies. And then, you know, every time you look at the champion, it's like, oh, shit, like they were only like 1 under during alternate shot. Or, damn, they were even.
Yeah.
But they were also 11 under between the other 2 formats, you know.
Yeah.
So that's always what I found. I think the 1 year, shout out Matt Hinkle, my first year I played in the McGonigal, him and Chad Engel, I think that was his partner, they were like 6 under an alternate shot.
Whew.
Like they had an eagle. I think they had like 3 or 4 bird. Like it was. I saw their alternate shot score. I'm like, holy shit! Like, so shout out Matt. I was talking to Chad about that the other day. He was like, that was the first time he'd ever played in that format, and like they actually were more under par on the alternate shot than they were like the scramble or something like that. So
God, yeah. All right, well, the McGonigal. We're gonna do it big.
Yeah. Hopefully we're playing again. Well, we are going to be playing together.
Sweet.
I'll make sure of it. But
yeah, work your magic with Bob and Sean. On to pro golf. Wyndham Championship this weekend. Lucas Glover won by 2. There was a weather delay at the end. I actually watched some of this until the weather happened.
And then it flipped over to the Golf Channel. I know that. That's because that's when I turned it on, like right after the weather delay.
Yeah. It was close, but Henley was bogey free on the day, and then after the weather delay, I think he bogeyed his last 3 coming home.
He did bogey his last 3 holes.
So kind of like it was a weird day because it was like really dead early. Nobody's really doing anything. People started picking up and making birdies in the middle. Then the weather happened, and then it was like just kind of sad at the end. So, but I mean, awesome scene with Lucas and his kids on the green. Dude. You text everybody, and you're like, man, I'm in my feels.
I was like his son yelling like, "Daddy, you won! Daddy, you won!" I'm like, holy shit, this kid like wants me to cry, and I was legitimately like tearing up a little bit. And he is like he's been around for a while, and he's had obviously well documented U.S. Open victory, but man, he's had some lows, and honestly, he's had some lows as early as, or as soon as this year. Like he missed a 2.5-foot putt in a U.S. Open qualifier playoff.
Yep.
Like, to come back from that, and then you see his kids, and you're like, and his daughter's crying, like, dang, man, I was not expecting this on a Sunday evening, but.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, obviously the big story sort of the whole tournament, it's the last one before the FedEx Cup Playoffs kick off.
Yeah.
So lots of bubble watching, and this year's down to 70. It used to be 125.
A lot of big names on that bubble, too.
Yeah, so just a couple notables that I wanted to touch on. Not necessarily playoff contenders here, but Billy Horschel finished 4th. 2 over on Sunday, though. That swing, when you're making changes under pressure, kind of felt like it was going to happen to him.
Yeah, I was like, when is it going to kind of like start falling apart a little bit?
I mean, after, what was it? Was it the Memorial, the 84?
Yeah.
Yeah, like after that, when he was the defending champion, like maybe to come back and, show that he's made progress is good on Billy to keep grinding.
And I'll tell you this, at least to me, he's become a lot more likable during this like drought that he's had this year.
Yeah, I mean, for him to go up there, shoot 84 as the defending champion, and go answer questions, and he was super emotional during that interview. Like, I mean, I appreciate him being honest and vulnerable in that moment. That was great. You don't see these guys do that. Most of them would just go to their car and go back to the hotel or whatever.
And I truly think it shows because, like, I think you probably know how much
me and you both are not.
We were not Billy Ho fans at all. But I think this shows everybody likes a good comeback story, man. Like, the guys that are like, because he could have easily just been like, shut it down for the rest of the year after the Memorial thing, right?
Yeah.
And like, in every story I've heard since that moment, it's like, he's the first one on the range and he's the first one or he's the last one off the range. So this guy's out here just grinding his you-know-what off. And to see some of that materialize, like, I think we've all been there with our golf games, right? You're like, damn, man, like, I've been working on my putting in my basement, and like, it's just not materializing into anything. And then you finally have that moment where it kind of materializes a little bit. It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
And shout out to him. He's definitely become more likable for me than he was probably prior to this year.
For sure. Webb Simpson out of nowhere with a T5. Him and Adam Scott both shoot 63 yesterday. That, by the way, the putter Adam Scott using is a fucking disgrace.
Oh, I know.
What in the hell is that thing?
That putter makes Brian Harmon's putter look normal.
Good God. I mean, honestly, Lucas Glover's putter is
it's pretty bad.
Wild, too.
But so are they using the even rolls? Is that what they're using?
I legitimately don't know what it is.
I don't know. Apparently, they're becoming more popular.
It looks like a Tetris putter.
But they have the same putter, I think, or the same company. Because I remember when Lucas Glover was going through all those putting woes this year, he like called the company that Adam Scott had his putter through and was like, I want the same exact thing, same exact measurements and everything.
Gotcha.
So I think they are the same putter.
It's been like the year of putter tech.
Yeah.
Between like the whole Odyssey putter that's like saved Keegan Bradley and Ricky Fowler, and now we got this thing going around.
Tommy Two Gloves. Oops. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. That's gated content, pal. JT, oh my gosh. Did you see what happened down the stretch? Yeah. I'm sure you had to because they showed it like
I saw
50,000 times.
I lied. So I did see that, and then I did have it on a little before the rain delay.
Yeah.
But I like went and did something and then came back and watched the end of it.
Yeah, the chip,
Brutal.
mean, that thing could have gone down equally as much as it did what it did.
Brutal.
And then to finish 71st right there to be the guy that didn't get in.
Which, okay, real quick, it's kind of crazy because everybody's like going into the week, it's like he's got to get T18 or better and he's going to make it.
He needed some help, but
I guess they probably should have rephrased, like a lot of articles, it was like a matter of fact, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, he needs T18 or better and these guys to like place out. It probably would have been better that way, and maybe they didn't have that information when they fired out the articles. But
right,
I saw it was like T12, he's in, and then like I was like, oh shit, no, he's not. And then like I saw the, and then I saw the chip, and I'm like, oh no, like maybe that wasn't the case. I guess wherever guy was finished at,
Yeah, he was talking about a wind gust that got his ball in 16, led to a bogey on the par 3. I mean, there's obviously, throughout a tournament, throughout a season, like one birdie here or there, probably he's in. Tough scene.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like, we all think about the points, right? The FedEx Cup points, but it's like, what does like one less shot in a tournament that he made the cut in equate to those points? And it's probably a shot because if he makes that birdie, he's in. So it's like he literally missed by a shot.
Yeah.
Over, 7 months of golf?
Yeah.
Think of how crazy that is.
Wild.
And I think, for me, that's how crazy golf is just in general. Like, even a 4-day tournament, right? How, like, one decision on your second hole on Thursday could be the difference between you winning and losing.
Right.
This is why, yeah.
Yeah, or it's,
Think of just thinking about how much golf he played, and it's like he missed it by one shot.
Exactly. And then plus you got the other side of it, right? The butterfly effect of like who had a putt lip in that caught, that jumped in front of him throughout the year, just anything that could have happened.
Yep.
Charlie Hoffman, I wrote down here, T12, just because he had an albatross yesterday, which is always sick. I mean, come on. 2 on a 5 is legit.
I won a hole in one, but I would argue like an albatross is probably like
it's a more impressive
likely
shot. I think it's a more impressive shot. I mean, obviously, depending on the par 5 that you're playing, but
yeah. But I mean, like, I bet there's probably way less people with albatrosses than there are hole in ones.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally.
I saw that. That was pretty cool.
And then just a couple others here. A couple Ryder Cup hopefuls, T14, Sam Burns and Ludwig Aberg.
Yeah, and we'll revisit that a little bit here later in the episode.
In just a bit.
Big Ludwig fan.
Yeah, you and me both. So I guess we can do it. Who needed the back nine six-pack? I have two candidates. I think we have a for sure winner here. But one guy I wrote down because I just wanted to tell a brief story from the Barbasol about him. So the first guy, round 2, Henrik Norlander shoots 78 in a sweet 36-42 fashion. The reason I put him on here, when we were at the Barbasol, I don't know if you remember this situation, but he teed off the group before Kevin and Jay.
He did.
And there was a gentleman also from Spain in the group.
Yes.
Who I don't remember his name, unfortunately. I apologize.
Yeah,
Apologies all around.
It was like 3 names. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the lady doing the first tee announcements was, she made the comment, all the way from Spain, blah, 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 blah. And this is after she'd already announced Henrik Norlander, who I believe is from Stockholm. Stockholm.
Yeah.
And so they're walking away after everyone tees off. And Henrik's caddy turns around and says, Stockholm's a lot farther away than Madrid.
I thought we were going to have to call in the UN.
Yeah, straight up. NATO just fracturing right in front
Honestly, kind of wanted... I think it's close, but I kind of wanted to fact check them.
I know, but it was still funny either way.
Yeah. I do remember that. We both we all looked at each other like, damn.
Yeah.
And he said it in not a kidding voice either.
No.
It was you got to give him credit for being here too. He's from just as far away.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know, it struck me as really funny.
Yeah, so I like it.
This was a reason to bring that up. The other guy on the list here, though, is one... I can't remember if we've given him this before.
We have not. He's been on the list, but I don't think we've given it to him.
And Dylan Fratelli. Also round 2.
I saw his scorecard, and I honestly thought, immediately, I'm like, he gets it.
We haven't done this for a while where we've actually kind of gone through and broken it down. So I want to go through this because I think it's important to the story. So he shoots 79, 37, 42. But all 42s are not created equal.
No, they are not.
So 37, he has a double, a bogey, and a birdie on the front. Not a big deal.
Yep.
But you're 2 over, got to get the back nine six-pack. That just steadies you, right? He didn't do that. He bogeys 10. Makes a few pars. But then we get to the par 5, 15th. Do you know what happened on this hole?
I did. I've seen his scorecard. I don't know, specifically what happened, but I saw his scorecard and I saw a 10.
Awesome. So Dylan Fratelli makes a 10 on a par 5. And I'm going to tell you how he made a 10 because it's kind of funny. Hits his tee ball right, 279 yards to the unknown. This is all from the PGA Tour app. I didn't see this, so there's could be even better story involved here. But whenever you see the unknown, always sick. Hits a provisional, 243 yards, also to the unknown.
So, possibly off course, maybe. OB.
Yes. Long story short, the ball's gone. He ends up hitting his 4th ball off the tee. So, we're sitting there laying 4. 5th shot, 250 yards to the left, intermediate. He still has 280 yards to the hole. Excuse me. He loses both of those balls, has to hit 5 off the tee. Yes. Is what I should say. Sorry.
Yes.
So he's still 270.
Hold on real quick. The fact that he hit the second one, 243, he tried to play smart the second time and hit a shorter club. It's insult to injury. He also hit the shorter club out.
Yes. That's the best.
Dude, you just got to fire drive.
He might have reloaded driver and just hit something. Or just, you know what I mean? It went right, so he could hit a tree. Who knows? Anyway, so he's laying 5. I apologize. After this whole mess. Shot 6, 208 yards to the water. Has to drop. 200 yards to the hole. Shot 8. He's got 84 feet. He ends up getting down in 2 from 84 feet away. Taps it in for a 10.
Oh, God.
The fact that he lost the provisional, though, I was like, God, this is so relatable.
I know.
I've so
dude, I feel for him though. I think we've all been those moments where he's you hit one out, You're like, all right, I better hit another one. And then that one goes out, and you're like, oh shit, we got to find that first one.
Yeah.
Because always the second one always feels like it goes further out. So you're like, oh, well, we definitely need to find the first one.
Yeah. So that just all bared noting. Look, Dylan Fratelli needed the back nine six-pack.
Yeah,
that's all there is to it.
100% did.
And hopefully he got one after he was done after that. Oh, man. So we briefly mentioned the FedEx Cup playoffs, too. Obviously, notable misses. We talked about JT, but I also, and Adam Scott, whatever, he shot 63 to kind of get himself close, but wasn't really ever in it. But I was shocked when I saw Shane Lowry was just seemed like a guy that had a steady season. I don't know.
Yeah, and when we talk about the Ryder Cup, like, he's right there kind of for qualifying for the European team. So I'm like,
he might even be on the I have no idea.
He is not. He's not qualified, but he's top 8. I'm pretty sure. I think he's like 7th.
I would imagine. So
he's top 8 in qualifying for the Ryder Cup, but he did not make the FedEx Cup playoffs, which is surprising.
Yeah.
Because when I started doing the research for our Ryder Cup discussion, I didn't even know he missed the FedEx Cup. I'm like, hold on. Like, he's probably a shoo-in for a pick, even though he's not in the automatic qualifying.
Right.
But I would have assumed that equated to him being, like, in the playoffs. But
and there's probably many more. I didn't have time to look down the actual standings and all that, but I think those are probably some of the bigger names.
I mean, he didn't win, obviously, but I didn't feel like he played like we all know JT had a bad year. Like,
I feel like Shane Lowry was, like, popping at a few tournaments, especially early in the year.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, when Ricky was playing really bad 2 or 3 years, like, we all knew he was playing bad. Like, it was not like some kind of big secret to him. Like, I don't think it's been. Maybe it's just because he's not American. I don't know, but it's like it didn't seem like he was playing that bad golf this year.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Okay. Like, he's a big name too, so it's not like he's like some unknown guy, you know.
Right. So new format this year a little bit. As we mentioned, they went from, it used to be 125, got into this first round. They'd cut it to 70 or whatever it was, and then down to 30 for the Tour Championship. Obviously, they're cutting it to 70 now. This week, they'll cut it down to 50 and then still 30 for the Tour Championship. Still doing the staggered start at the Tour Championship. The winner gets $18 million and a 5-year exemption. Pretty sick deal if you can get it done.
Yeah, no kidding. Bill Haas lived on that 5-year exemption after he won it.
He
won the FedEx Cup and like disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few guys that kind of showed up out of nowhere to win the thing. But yeah, I don't know. To me, the format is kind of the format, I guess.
I'm not a big fan from cutting the first cut or from cutting 125 down to 70.
Yeah, the only reason they're doing it is to spread out the payments more to more quote unquote top guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but then at the same time, I'm like, if you come top 125 on the PGA Tour, you're keeping your card. There's got to be some kind of reward for you solidifying yourself for next year. And to me, that's like you get to play in another tournament, right? Like that should be your reward. Now you're not guaranteed the next week, but like it should give you some kind of bonus of like, okay, you get to play in the next week. Now whatever happens after that happens.
Right.
But if you keep your card, you should be able to get to play the next week. That's my honest opinion.
And honestly, I don't know how the fall is shaking out and all that stuff, so I'm sure those guys get priority starts if they want them.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's, again, feels like it was a reaction probably to all the stuff with Liv going down, trying to funnel money to like I said, the top players.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't mind. The playoff events are, it's like when I watch them, I enjoy them, but I'm not like, it's not appointment viewing for me. You know what I mean?
No. I mean,
and I especially think that East Lake's kind of lame until late on Sunday if it's close.
I'd agree with you. Yeah. Like, I like East Lake, but it's like, it's not like, yeah, I'm not gonna like put time in my schedule on Thursday, Friday, Saturday to like if I'm sitting down and I get to watch, then great. But I'm not gonna put time aside to be like I'm gonna watch this on Saturday. Not gonna do that.
Right. So I wrote on the agenda here: secret question for Justin.
Saw that. Makes me nervous
because I just wanted to surprise you again. I've found joy in these sort of just like quiz games. I want us to know how many of the last 5 FedEx Cup champions you can name.
Okay.
So this is 2018 through 2022.
Okay.
Do you want to go just throw them out there, or do you want to
Yeah,
try
I'll
to go
throw
by
them out
year?
there. Rory won last year.
Okay.
Patrick Cantlay the year before that.
Yep.
Hold on. So what am I? I'm at 2021, right?
You've got
So
22 and 21.
Okay.
Now this is 2020 we're talking about.
So there was one in 2020.
There
That
was.
would be news to me. I'm gonna go with I think Rory again. Yes.
No.
Is he in one of those from 2018 on?
Yeah.
Like 2 of them. I thought he's won 2.
Yeah. He has.
Okay, but I think it might be 19 that he won.
Yeah,
in.
Rory
okay.
won in 19.
Okay, I'll come back to 2020. 18 would have been.
This is a famous one. You should be able to get it.
Was it Tiger?
Well, Tiger won.
Oh, he won. Yeah, okay. That was before they changed it because
Yep.
he won the Tour Championship. Yep. Okay. Justin Rose.
Correct.
And then 2020 would have been. All right, give me a second here. No. Oh, please don't tell me it's who I think it is.
I don't think so, but
Is it someone I don't like?
I don't know if you like this person or not.
Okay, then it's not that person. Well, I know in 2020 Bryson DeChambeau won a major, but I think it was after the Tour Championship because if you remember, the U.S. Open was not played until November that year.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, this guy also won a major that was moved.
Oh, Dustin Johnson.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I knew for a fact that it was like a guy that moved to live.
Yeah.
But I was like kind of going down the list and I was like trying to figure. I thought it was Bryson, but I was like, no. It couldn't have been because he won his major after the FedEx Cup Championship.
Do you think you can go any farther back?
17 I think was an oddball. I'm pretty sure that was one of the years that was like an oddball person.
No.
No.
This was a major winner that year.
17? Give me 1 second. Hold on. 17. Spieth? No, he didn't win a major in 17.
Good buddy of his.
Wasn't JT, was it?
It was JT.
In 17? Really? God, he's only been on tour since 15.
Yeah, he won in 2017.
Wow, okay.
16?
I had no idea.
Rory.
Okay.
And
I knew Rory has won like 3 in the last like
Yeah.
10 or 15 years or 10 years or something like that.
And 15 was our king, Jordan Spieth.
Yes. Okay. I knew he had one in there, 15, but I was like, no, his U.S. Open one was in 15.
But
So
then
I was
this
like-
is where you get to the real oddball run. So
Like Bill Haas is in there for sure.
14 Billy Horschel, 13 Henrik Stenson, 12 Snedeker, 11 Bill Haas.
Yeah, 11. That's what I was thinking.
10 Furyk, 2009 Tiger, 2008 VJ, 2007 Tiger. And that was the first one.
Yeah, but I knew Rory had like 3 in the last 9 or 10 years. I knew
You
that.
actually did better than I expected on that. Because my whole point was going to be like, nobody remembers who wins this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I know I've watched enough of the playoffs the last 5 or 6 years that Justin Rose. I said Tiger, but I forgot that's before
See,
they switched.
yeah.
It's before they did the stagger start. So I'm like, well, Tiger won the Tour Championship that year. Well, he did win the tournament, but he didn't win the FedEx Cup.
Yeah, it would have been a lot tricky if they still had that in place, I think.
Yeah,
A lot more tricky.
100%.
Okay. Well, just speaking of tour updates in general, a couple things. One, we're a step closer to my conspiracy theory
He's
that
gonna
Tiger
be-
Woods is going to be the
he's-
commissioner.
He's got power moves up his sleeve that he's
Oh.
going to be the commissioner probably within the next 4 or 5
God,
years.
I cannot. I'm just waiting. I got to go dig that clip up so I have it saved for the moment it happens.
I mean, it's going to be like Julius Caesar all over. Like, they're just going to take Jay Monahan down. Like,
At 2 Brute.
yeah.
Knives in his back.
He's going to do Tiger Woods is going to do the 300 kick into the deep,
Yeah.
dark circle in the middle of the ground. Like, all the players, dude, we got to make a meme of that. Just get all the players, like, surrounding them, and then Tiger kicking Jay Monahan into the circle.
That's definitely
That's what's going to happen. I mean, he's just going to rally the troops. He doesn't even need to rally the troops. Everybody already likes him way more than Jay Monahan.
Yeah, they rallied for him apparently.
All these guys on tour grew up watching Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even need to rally the troops. It's like a given. Like,
right.
I mean, no, it's
all jokes aside. Tiger was added as a 6th player director among just like a hodgepodge list here. Patrick Cantlay,
okay, Peter
Chuck
Malnati.
Hoffman, Peter Malnati, Webb Simpson, and Rory McIlroy. So they're on the PGA Tour policy board together.
Okay,
now.
so Cantlay should automatically be disqualified from being on that.
That should be Tiger's first move is to ban Cantlay.
Cantlay, you're gone. Like, you play in 5-hour pace, you're out of here. No problem with Charlie. Charlie, like, from everything I've heard,
I don't know, man. Charlie's the guy that was ready to nuke the tour the first second.
Yeah,
the LIV stuff started.
From everything I've heard, like, he is a very, very brilliant golf mind. From everything I've read about him, okay, so maybe it does make sense to have him on there because of that.
Sure.
Peter Malnati, like, get your fucking buckets hats out of here.
Oh, dude, Pete's a nice guy. Don't talk shit about Pete.
You saw him walking down the street, you would definitely never think he was a professional athlete.
Him and Hoffman are on there. Is like, all right, we need
some lower
somebody that's like
guys.
in the 120 to 150. Get on this thing. We need to hear from you.
So, do you get disqualified from this if you don't keep your card?
No, yeah, seriously, it's possible.
Peter Malnati's like working at Kroger, and he's with his bucket hat, and he's on the player panel.
That's fine. Let him on there.
He's hitting range balls and giving lessons at a local muni, but he serves on the freaking.
I'm sure you have to remain a member in good standing.
I guess that's when he just he plays. He does his playing ability test, the PAT.
His PAT.
He gets into the PGA of America. He's still a member of the PGA, right?
Yeah,
just a different PGA.
Yeah. Him and Blocky can battle it out for low PGA Pro.
I mean, obviously, no problem with Webb Simpson being on there and Rory, but yeah, those two middle guys are. And Cantlay, for being honest, shouldn't be on there.
Yeah, no, we don't need that.
Glad Tiger's on there though.
Yeah, I think like I will always and forever say, anytime that you can get Tiger Woods more involved, it's going to be a good thing. Even though he's corny and getting up there in age and whatever,
it'd be like the NBA disowning Michael Jordan. Like, exactly. Michael Jordan played in the NBA, great. Okay, we don't really need anything else from you.
Yeah.
If he's still alive, he needs to be involved.
Right.
So,
and I think in a real way, brings like some gravitas to like the leaders of the tour when you're in meetings with, the PIF and all that stuff and big decisions are happening. Like, that's somebody that everybody in the room is going to turn and, look to as
especially
the guy sitting there.
Especially like the guys that are the top tier talent. Like, there's no beating around the bush. The guys that are top tier talent, frankly, probably don't really want to know what Charlie Hoffman and Peter Malnati are thinking. But they're going to look at Tiger and go, well, if this was 15 years ago, like, what would you think?
Right.
Or what would you do? So it does add a little more validity to the conversation, for sure. He feels like a guy that's probably not going to get pushed around a whole lot either.
Well, he's also the most recent major winner on that list. So
that's also a fair point.
By the way, do you see Phil was like, oh, it's so great Tiger's involved. I feel like he was just like behind the scenes just breaking shit that it's not him.
Like, God damn it.
It's like, I'm trying to do this shit.
It's like, that should have been me.
Yeah. Like classic for his entire career.
He's in the shower in the fetal position, like trying to just wash it off.
Oh my God. Anyway, so I don't know if this was leaked or if the tour released it. There was a whole thing about the schedule for next year. Anyway, the tour did officially release a calendar for next season. Couple highlights. One, awesome that the season is like January to the playoffs, right? Like, we don't have this fall swing season. Everyone's starting the year in January with 0 points, and we're going from there. Simplifies everything. And then also, I did notice match play is completely gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
So there's no...
Which is sad.
I think it's a little sad, yeah.
I mean, match play is the best form of golf, and now we don't have a single event that has it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see if things change. That's obviously everything is fluid. Everything's evolving at this point. Who knows what's going to happen to,
Yeah, I knew the course in Austin didn't want to have it anymore. Their membership was kind of over it.
Yeah, a lot of work closing it down.
Yeah, and and it's an expensive course, and
There's a waiting list to get into there, and you shut it down for weeks at a time.
And I know people that are members at courses like that. Money's not really what they're thinking about when they join a place like that, but it's still, you kind of want to play your course, right?
Right.
And that for that event being, Austin's not like super far south, so that event is at the beginning of their season. The course is just kind of maturing back to, summer, getting back to spring and summer, and it's like you have a event that shuts it down for probably the first 6 weeks of golf season down there.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think I've gone back and forth on this. Like when they changed it from, single elimination to the group play.
I enjoyed the group play.
I know why they did the group play, but to me, like the reason everyone likes, March Madness is because
it's the bracket,
the guys that can, what was the team? I can't even remember these guys. FAU this year,
yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It's getting the FAUs and stuff. Well, when you're in the group play, it's like hard to follow who's what. Sometimes the third match doesn't even matter. Guys WD.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice just to have that single elimination from go and, play it out that way. But
yeah, I will say I was not a big fan of the group play when it first started. I became a fan of it after the first couple years of it. But I would love to see a 64-person bracket out there again. That would be fantastic. Actually, so let's just say the 70 getting into the what they call signature events.
Yeah,
get some playing matches. The low guys,
or like have qualifying for the first 2 rounds or whatever, and then do a match play on the weekend or something. Yeah,
be pretty sweet.
There'd be cool ways to do it. So you mentioned it, signature events, designated events lasted a year. RIP. We're now on to signature events. I think there was like 8 of those, and then the 3 ones that are associated with Tiger, Arnie, and Jack. There is a cut in those, but the rest of them sounds like there will not be. I think it's around 80 players in each one of those fields.
Yep.
There's like a way for guys that are playing hot to be able to get in still, but it's mostly going to be those who finished inside the top. I think 50 or 60 of this year's FedEx Cup Playoffs. So guys like JT going to have to be playing his way into these. And there are some spots given to, I think it's like the 10 guys that are like ranked the highest in the standings that aren't already in, things like that. So there's ways for guys to get in, which is cool. But my only fear, I don't think I'm a fan of the no cut stuff. Because you get
and I read an article today when you obviously knew we were going to talk about this. And Tiger's not a big fan of it either.
Well, that's why him and
Jack
he
actually
and
said
event,
he's like, I'm arguing to make my event a cut.
Yep,
there's going to be a cut at my event, or at least he wants that. I don't know if he's going to get that.
They did. So the Arnold Palmer Invitational, the Memorial, and his Genesis
and
event
that should be that
all
way.
have cuts.
I
but
mean,
I will say it's top 50 in ties plus anyone within 10 shots of the lead.
So it could be the whole field.
It could be the whole field.
I mean, look, it would be like. I don't know what kind of mathematical anomaly would have to happen for that to happen, but like it definitely could happen, I guess.
Yeah. But anyway, the WGCs were like never. The only reason WGCs were fun is because Tiger was winning them, so they seemed important.
Yeah.
But like those events on the whole, like the no cut events, are just kind of a boring slog. They doesn't have much juice.
Yeah.
I mean, half of the drama of a PGA Tour event is coming down the stretch on Friday.
Hell yeah.
Guys grinding out to make the cut. Why was this so cool watching JT try to battle for the playoffs, right? Like, same thing.
My guy, Justin Lower, at the 3M. They and the PGA Tour made a big deal about it. He freaking eagled 18 to make the cut.
What were we tracking this weekend? Kevin and Jay out there.
The cut line.
3 holes to go. We're watching him. Unfortunate double bogey.
Your text just get absolute spiral.
I'm going to stop sending any text, by the way. So if Jay hears this, sorry, I'll take the blame for this one. I'm
He
such
literally
a jinx.
sent the text, and I looked at his scorecard, and it was a double.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that was like,
just
that might have been the
karma.
quickest one.
Yeah. Anyway, no cuts. Just we'll see how it all plays out, but
I do want to mention, because I did go through the schedule when I was walking in with my Barbasol hat on.
Yeah.
So some notables. Obviously, the Barbasol not on there now. I guess it could change. It said TBD in that date. We kind of talked about it before it came on there. Probably looking for a sponsor.
Yep.
Or maybe trying to renew with Barbasol or whatever it might be. Myrtle Beach Classic, which we figured out is an opposite field event to the Wells Fargo.
Yep.
But the Dunes is awesome. I've
never been to Myrtle Beach.
Legit, though?
So.
Oh, really?
No.
So I played a lot of courses down there. I played the Dunes. I'm looking forward to that. I know it's an opposite of field event, and the field's probably not going to be very good. But I would legitimately make time to watch that event just because I want to see the Dunes get played by guys that are on PGA Tour.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
The Memorial was moved back a week. We talked about that as well before we came on here. It's now the week before the U.S. Open rather than 2 weeks before the U.S. Open. Going to be interesting to see what those Monday U.S. Open fields look like now. It used to be the Monday after the Memorial.
Yeah, now before.
Now it's the Monday before the Memorial. I kind of said I feel like they're still going to be pretty good just because guys are going to be coming into town.
Yeah, that's probably doing them a favor, honestly.
Yeah.
Instead of having to stick around and then, go qualify and then fly to wherever the U.S. Open is, you get it out of the way ahead of time.
Yeah, but those were the big things I kind of saw on the schedule, and then you've kind of mentioned the other ones, like no fall swing, stuff like that.
Yeah, some stuff to be determined. And speaking of things needing to be determined, Ryder Cup.
And we're getting really close.
It's closer than we think. That's for sure.
We may have talked about it a little early about a month ago, but I feel like we're coming up.
It's the end of September. It'll be the end of September, so we'll. This is definitely gonna be something we're tracking. It. I mean, it's gonna be tough too with some guys in consideration that like we mentioned before, are not in the playoffs. Are they gonna go play other events? Will we see them? How many times before the Ryder Cup and the picks are made? So, still a lot to be determined.
You want me to start with the Europe side?
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out. So
here's some notables that I saw. So they have the European points, and then you have the world points.
So is it 3 and 3? And then 6 captain picks?
I think it's 3 and 6, and then 3 captain picks.
Whoa, no way.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm looking this up right now. That's what I was trying to do.
But regardless, so here's some of the notables.
He gets 6 captain picks.
He gets 6 captain picks. So it's 3 and 3, and then...
Yeah, so the top 3 from the world, top 3 from the European, and they can't be crossing over, obviously. So
Yep. So here's some notables that I saw on the European side that I'm 99% sure are not automatically qualified at this point. Shane Lowry. Close. He's 7th or 8th in the world points. I think he's 7th or 8th in the European points.
Yeah, he's 8th in World Tour points and 10th in European.
Okay. Matt Fitzpatrick. Not qualified.
Interesting. Yeah, he's not had. I mean, he had the win at the Heritage, but he's not done much outside of that.
No. We're going to come back to Ludwig. Sepp Straka. Not qualified yet. Close on the world points, but not qualified. Justin Rose.
Yeah.
Close, but not qualified. Rob McIntyre. Not qualified yet. And then I threw this one in because, look, excuse me. Oh, God, now I'm drawing a blank. Valhalla. God dang it. Who did they?
JB Holmes.
Not
Boo
JB,
Weekley.
Boo Weekley. So they took Boo Weekley because they knew exactly what they were going to get from that guy in Kentucky. They just knew, and JB Holmes was on that team. They knew what they were going to get out of those guys playing in their home state. So I was like, okay, well, let's look and see who the highest ranking Italian player is. Guido Magliozzi is
I believe it's Migliozzi. But...
Migliozzi, same thing. He's the highest ranking Italian. I would guess he's definitely going to be in the conversation for a captain's pick just because it's his home country. And it does. I know golf's, it's a focus sport, this and that, but there's something about getting a guy playing on his home turf that he might not play a bunch of matches, but he's going to get to play. And, maybe you send him out there, if you're struggling or something, you send him out there, get the crowd worked up a little bit, a little hometown favorite. But I threw him in there. Let's come back to Ludwig. I didn't even see him on the list. I might have passed him. I definitely don't think he was in like the top 20 on any of the list.
No, that wouldn't shock me if he's not.
No, but he's played pretty fucking good the last 2 months. He's got to be talked about. I would not be. There would be zero surprise to me if he ended up on the team. Honestly, I think it would be a mistake if they did not put him on the team. That's just my opinion.
All right, let's go through.
But those are the notables that I said that were not qualified right now for the European team. Some big names. I mean, especially Shane Lowry, Matt Fitzpatrick. I mean, Matt Fitzpatrick won a major not even 14 months ago.
Right. I got 8 guys here for the Euros that I personally would consider locks. Let's see if we can agree.
Okay.
Rory.
Yep.
Rahm.
Yep.
Hovland.
Yep.
Hatton.
Yep.
Fleetwood.
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick.
Yep.
Lowry.
Yep.
And Rose.
Yeah. Those are guarantees.
I think those 8 guys are locks for
100%. They're going to bring Rose because he's going to be the veteran, right? You look up that list and outside of him and Rory, not a lot of Ryder Cup experience on that team.
No, I think Hatton, Lowry were both there last time.
Fleetwood
has been there for the last couple.
But Justin Rose has been a staple
Obviously.
For the European team for the last 16 years.
Rahm, we failed to mention Rahm there. But
yeah,
Rahm's a staple for the team as well. It's interesting to see because with the whole Liv departure, there's not you don't have the Poulter and the Westwood and Sergio, like those guys that
the big names that are
the
maybe
stalwarts
of
the last 10 Ryder Cups, really.
Yeah, and I think you kind of saw that at the last Ryder Cup. Almost like the changing of the guard for the European team.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, Poulter and those guys were kind of like, all right, Rory, it's your team now. Rahm, it's your team now. Kind of handing it over. I mean, they got just absolutely fucking smoked at Whistling Straits. But it did feel like that was like the changing of the guard for that team. And now it feels like it opens up room for your Matt Fitzpatricks, your Tommy Fleetwoods and things like that they're going to be able to step up into those roles. And Rory, obviously Rahm, Ludwig as a younger guy possibly. If he doesn't get on this, he will eventually be a staple on that team. It may not be this year, but eventually he will be.
So,
but I definitely think there's like Sepp Straka.
Yeah, here.
So I almost considered him a lock because that guy's playing so good. It's almost going to be hard to keep him off the team.
I think I just saw he's 7th in the world points.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. For me, if I'm sitting here, I'm Captain Donald. I got those 8 as my core. I think I'm filling it out. I'm taking a shot on Ludwig.
Yeah.
Just build for the future. Straka, I think, has earned his way there.
Almost a guarantee, yeah.
I know he's hot and cold and whatever.
But the guy can just make – I mean, he makes a lot of bogeys, but he makes a lot of birdies. Like the guy is just – I mean, he has some of the 6-7 best 7-hole stretches that I've ever seen a guy have.
I'm throwing Adrian Meronk, won the Italian Open at this course.
Yeah,
had a pretty good PGA Tour season.
He did. He crossed my mind. I saw, and I remember that I heard someone saying they were talking about how he'd won at this course.
He's 5th in European points, and let me see where he's at. He's 11th in world points, so he's right there inside their top 12.
Yeah.
And then the last guy who's up there in both as well is Bob McIntyre, which I don't necessarily think he's a great course fit, but
no, but he's pretty solid
out after that.
Yeah.
There's just a dearth of options. I mean, you could maybe talk me into one of the Højgaard brothers.
Yeah.
Just like another stab.
Yeah, or like a Thomas Peters or something like that.
Yeah, I forgot about Peters, honestly.
Thomas Peters. Again, they might throw an Italian in there just to have one on the team. And maybe it's not the guy that's the highest ranked one.
I mean, if you got to think if Francesco had a pulse, he'd be there. But I have no idea what that guy's doing.
I think Eduardo's actually higher on the list than he is.
He truly might be. I'm not going to go that deep.
I'm like 99% sure. I did go that deep on the list, and I'm pretty sure that he is higher than Francisco.
Let's just look.
I mean, you want to talk about a guy that just got ruined.
He's not, at least in the world points.
Okay, I think it might have been the European
but they're
points.
52 and 73, so I don't think they're going to be getting a look.
No, but I mean, like, I'm telling you, there's something to be, especially for a European team. Like, they're not one country, right?
Yeah. They do that often. I mean, they'll take a hometown or a home country player.
I mean, hell, Ian Poulter technically shouldn't have been on, like, the last 3 teams, point-wise, but there's just something about, like, having a home country person on the team or just having a guy that you know is just going to show up. Like, there's something to that. Like, leaving out the points, you know.
Yeah. No doubt.
All right, let's move on to the important team.
The U.S. side. 2 already qualified, Scheffler and Clark already in.
They're in. Yep.
All right, let's see if we can agree on some locks real quick. I think Harmon's going to get in on points.
Yeah, he will be. Yeah, he's third right now.
Brooks, Xander, Cantlay all feel like locks.
You would assume, yeah. Yep.
I think Fred Couple said that Max Homa's on the team already. That league.
Yeah, just from a standpoint of he's the most, like, he just shows up a lot. Like, I know he missed the cut at the U.S. Open at his home course and this and that, but he had a really good. I felt like him at the Open, finishing T10, pretty much locked in his spot. Because I think people up to that point were like, "Oh, he's not playing well," and then he did a T10 at the Open. You're like, "Okay, he's back." Like T10, didn't have his best stuff, but found a way to get a top 10. I think that solidified his spot on the team for sure.
I also think Spieth is a lock.
He's definitely, just from a standpoint of needing experience for guys that have played in multiple of these, played in one that's been on European soil.
Yeah,
he's almost it's almost a guarantee on the team. Yep.
So that puts us at 8 that we agree on or on the team.
Yeah. Because, like,
I think
real quick, let's go up the list. How many, and I don't know this number, we probably won't figure this out, but there's not a lot of Ryder Cup experience in those top 8. If you leave out Spieth.
I mean, Spieth is the most experienced there. And then I think you've got, like...
Scheffler played in this first one last year, or 2 years ago.
Brooks played in 2016.
He did.
He's played in multiple of them.
Or 2. Yeah, he's played in 2.
3.
Yeah, he played in
16,
20,
18,
21.
and 20.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, so he's got 3. So he's behind Spieth.
Spieth only has one more than him because he played at Glen Eagles. Everyone else is maybe 2, and then obviously Scotty's only been in 1. Clark and Harmon would be rookies. So, I mean, I think there's more than you think, but it's not your traditional experience. There's not a Tiger Woods that's played in 10 of them or something.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have that leader in the clubhouse.
Versus, like, Rory and Rahm. I mean, some of those guys over there, Rose, they've played in so many.
And we know, like, Brooks is probably the next most experienced of Spieth. While Brooks is an amazing talent, he's not the rah-rah leader.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's just not. And asking him to try to be that person is just not going to be fair to him. So, all right. So those are pretty much, we agree.
We have 8. So now we've got
I think we all agree
picks.
on those.
We have 4 picks.
So let's talk
and
about
I think we're going to disagree on a couple, but let's...
Okay, so let's talk about the guys that we have not said that were locks. Cam Young, Keegan Bradley, Colin Morikawa, Ricky, Sam Burns, and then go down to 14, we got JT. So to me, I don't think the list goes much past JT for the guys that are actually going to, I think, are going to be on the team.
I think there are 3 locks right there among that group.
So I think, you want me to give you mine first?
Yep.
I think Colin Morikawa's a lock.
Yep.
I think Ricky Fowler's a lock.
Yep.
And I think that Keegan Bradley is a lock.
Whoa. We're not gonna be able to come to consensus here.
Sam Burns is out. I don't know how he's that high on the list, to be completely honest with you. I know he's had some good tournaments.
He won the match play.
And he won the match play, but I mean, outside of that, it's like... Ugh.
No, I don't think Sam... The one thing that can get Sam Burns on this team is he's really good friends with Scotty Scheffler.
And if he so he's in the FedEx Cup playoffs. If he were to win one of those,
He could obviously qualify if he gets on a heater. Yeah.
if he wins one of those, and next thing you know, he's 7th on the points, 8th on the points. It's maybe he works his way on the team.
Yeah.
But as of right this second, he is not on the team. Would be my guess.
I agree with you, but I also don't think that Keegan is a lock. I think he's obviously getting a look, but I don't think he's a lock.
You think JT's a lock?
I think JT's a lock still.
I think after how he played this weekend, he's definitely a lot closer to a lock than I thought.
I think they're probably going to tell him, hey, we're going to need you to go play whatever events he can play before just so they can get a real feel for how he's still playing. But I just have a hard time believing they're going to go to Rome without him on the team.
Yeah, at this point, after how he played this weekend, it would be hard to believe a team without him. I would agree with that. I think there's 4 locks in those groups of people.
You'd go Keegan and JT.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sam Burns being the odd guy out.
Yeah, well, and Cam Young.
And Cam Young.
Which I think I agree with.
Because here's my thing. When you're going onto foreign soil, you want winners. Okay? And what I mean by that is guys that have been coming down the stretch and have won tournaments.
Well, I think that puts Sam Burns ahead of Cam Young on the list then for you.
Well, I get that. Well, you still haven't said what your 4th one would be because you said there's 3 locks on out of the ones I named. Who would you go if Sam Burns is out? You need one more.
Assuming Keegan is not dead in the playoffs, just useless, I think I would take him.
Yeah, okay.
Unless Cam Young or Sam Burns beats
because after
the door
14,
down.
It was iffy.
I think a name has entered the chat this weekend. Bryson DeChambeau shot 58 to win a tournament this weekend. And has shown up at the majors this season. I don't think they'll take him.
I mean, I don't think they will either, but it would not surprise me if they did.
He was there for the last one. I think he was 3-0. Won 2 4-ball matches in his singles match. He played his role. Kept his mouth pretty quiet.
Yep.
It wouldn't shock me.
Because he's obviously not qualified on points because he plays only the majors, right? Yeah, I mean, he really has played good in the majors.
But the only thing is, I don't think if you've got Burns or Young or Keegan sitting there inside the top 10 in points that they would, unless he was just whatever tournaments they still have between now and then, won all of them or something.
I guess, so what I was getting at when I was kind of saying that, you want winners on the team, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I was getting at. Cam Young has not won.
No, he hasn't won.
If we're playing this at Whistling Straits again this year, I'm fuck it, put him on the team.
Yeah, Cam Young's on the team. I think it's the setup that scares me the most for him.
It's right now, you need guys that have won tournaments. They've faced that pressure. They've won tournaments all over the world, right? He's just not that guy.
Yeah,
and you can even your argument, you're all right. I think Keegan's on the team. The guy's won. He's
for sure.
You know what I mean?
And he's improved as a putter, and he's a ball striker. So and I think you need that at this.
So
course.
If it comes down to him and Cam Young, I'm give me Keegan because Keegan's won tournaments, and that's not fair to Cam Young because it's so hard to win on the PGA Tour. But when you're in a discussion about who's going to represent us in the Ryder Cup, that enters the chat pretty quickly.
I'm with you. So right now we're going to take Ricky, Colin, JT, and Keegan.
Yeah, those are the last 4 on for sure. I don't know who's after JT, just out of curiosity, because I didn't really look down that far. I just remember getting the JT and going, ew.
Yeah, it's, Denny McCarthy, Kurt Kitayama, Will Zalatoris still up there after not playing all season, which RIP.
If he was healthy.
He'd be such a good fit for
if
this
he was
course.
Healthy, if he was healthy, I would be all on the Will train. Yeah, for sure.
Then you got Harris English, your boy Tony Finau, which sucks. He just doesn't have it.
And he actually played pretty good 2 years ago, so...
Yeah, he played great. He's been great in match play.
He was
he was the only guy in France that had a winning record. I think,
it's just kind of one of those things where it's he's not good. It's not good right now.
Yeah, and then you get into your Henleys, your Kirks.
Yeah, that's why I remember seeing that. And I was just kind of I do remember the only name popping out to me was Will Zalatoris. It was if he was healthy, it would be him for sure.
I honestly think if if it was DJ that just did what Bryson did,
Oh, he's on the team, no
I think
doubt.
they put him on the team.
Only because what would this be, his like fifth one he'd be on?
Yeah, 5th or 6th probably.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, he's playing good, and this is going to be his 6th one. He's got experience.
Yeah.
We're putting him on the team.
So I just don't know what they'll do with Bryson.
I mean, it'd be interesting, man. 58 again.
I want to see him play well the rest of the way, just to like have the drama of it being possible.
58 is a 58.
Right.
I mean,
that course has been prone to it, though. I will say
it has been, but a 58 is a 58.
Dude, did you see his front 9?
Yeah.
He almost had all 3s.
Yeah.
He bogeyed a par 3. I think it was like the 8th hole or something.
Yeah.
8 3s and a 4.
Look, a 58 is a 58, and it doesn't matter where and when it's done.
No, for sure.
As long as it's played by the rules of golf, a 58 is still phenomenal. And again, like, he showed up in the majors. I mean, he really has.
Yeah.
Outside the Masters, I don't think he had a good Masters, but he had a good PGA, had a good U.S. Open, had a pretty good Open. I know he made the cut.
Yeah, he was floating around there, going up and down the leaderboard. I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch. That's obviously we're going to track that repeatedly as we already have done.
God, I'm so excited though. Ryder Cup is.
I know.
And then it's going to be in the morning. You can get up at like 4 a.m. to watch matches. It's going to be great.
Yeah, last time we watched it over at your house.
We
had
did.
some football, and we'll have to figure something out.
Little football Ryder Cup action.
Yeah.
Oof. Man, because we squeezed
better.
golfing at like 7 a.m. and like missed the morning matches.
Well, it's overseas, so it's going to be real early, right?
Yeah.
We'll figure something out.
God, that would be the ultimate.
Something out.
The ultimate Saturday would be golf, miss the morning matches, afternoon matches, and college football at the same time.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah, that'd be legit. All right, it's time. Anything goes on the patio.
I know I went for last week, so I'll let you go first this time.
Did you go first?
Yeah.
No, you didn't. I went first.
All right, I'll go first.
I don't care either way.
All right. So I told you that I was Googling psychoanalytic questions, right?
I know. I think I triggered you with the corn question, and now
We're on the psychoanalytic.
you're on to gotcha
train.
journalism over here.
Yeah. But I think this is going to be a cool question to answer.
Okay.
And I do think this question says a lot about who you are, right?
Okay.
What did you want to be when you grew up? Like, let's just say between the ages of 12 and whenever you started having those discussions, I want to be a firefighter, like those kind of things.
I think it goes back younger than that then, right? I feel like
Maybe.
I think it's 12, 13. You're
a legit profession, not like I want to be a Major League Baseball player.
Yeah.
Every kid wants to do that,
As always, I have more than one answer for this. As a kid, I was all in on wanting to be a paleontologist. Loved dinosaurs.
Probably
Jurassic
didn't pay
Park.
much, but
Well, I don't know. Jurassic Park was like the GOAT movie for me as a kid. Watched all the time.
yeah.
I even went and I worked at the youth volunteer program with the Cincinnati Museum Center and the Natural History Museum when I was in 5th grade through middle school. So was always really intrigued by archaeology, paleontology, all that stuff. What I legitimately kind of pursued as a career path, probably from, like you said, around that 12, 13 year, every, young kid that's into sports, I wanted to be a sports broadcaster, right? I even, ended up going to school for 1 year at least, journalism school at OU.
You were going to be the next Matt Lauer.
No. Don't. We need to scrub that from the podcast.
Not the stuff he did off camera, the stuff he did on camera.
I wanted to be the next, your Tony Kornheiser, Mike Wilbon. I wanted to host PTI.
Mike Tirico.
Yeah, Tirico, SVP, those were my guys. And so, that didn't come true. But, I still ended up getting a certificate in journalism along the way. So always, now I'm doing this golf podcast with you. So, always kind of flirted around. I did a lot of freelance writing even throughout college and early career, writing about college football and the NFL. So, it's always been something I've kind of floated around. But, so as a young kid, paleontologist, when it got kind of real, I wanted to be a sports journalist.
So, I guess I have two answers to this question. Those are really good, though, by the way.
Thank you.
I did, in the back of my mind, I was like, you're going to say something science related. I don't know how I knew that, But I swear to God, I did. I was like, and I even told Danielle the question I was going to ask, and she was like, Mitch is going to say something with science. I'm
Hilarious.
Like, fuck, I was thinking that too.
So you know what's funny about that? So
I don't know why. Like, I knew about your aspirations and like journalism and things like that. I knew about that, but like outside, I'm like, I think I was like, that's exactly what I was thinking. I don't know what kind of science. I just knew it was going to be science related.
Yeah. So my oldest, he just graduated from preschool, and they did like to surprise the parents. They did a video asking all the kids what they wanted to be when they grew up, and he said he wanted to be a scientist.
Really?
That's what he wants to be, is a scientist. So it's funny that you mentioned
So I'm going to act therapist right now before I go on to my answer.
Yeah.
What I think this says about you is you're very analytical, and spot on.
1,000%. Too analytical, maybe.
Yeah, maybe even too analytical.
Yeah.
That is like, and that's it. And I kind of, so when I found this question, going through all these questions, something similar to that was like this question, like the answers to this question. And it kind of was like, if they answer these fields, this is kind of what it says about that. And science was like analytical, and journalism was also in this is your bracket of like you're analytical on everything. You analyze everything.
So I'm easy to read.
Nailed
what you're
it.
telling me. Yeah. Okay.
God, I should be a therapist.
You might.
That is not what I wanted to be growing up. So I guess okay, so I was pretty because we grew up in that generation that watched we had ESPN.
Like
right,
the
like
goats,
24/7.
The goats of sports.
The goats of the goats, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think anybody that grew up in our generation at some point wanted to be like a TV personality, or something along that. Like I grew up loving Dick Vitale.
Mm-hmm.
Probably says a lot about who I am. Just firing off the hip. Love, I grew up watching College Game Day, like when it first started. Lovely Corso, all this. Those were the guys I idolized. I'm like, and I was very specific about it. I remember when I was like 8 or 9 years old, we played golf at Glenview, and we played golf with who's the writer for Cincinnati Enquirer?
Paul Doherty.
Played with Paul Doherty. I was like 9 years old.
In high school, I wrote him an email, and he emailed me back with some really good advice about journalism school. So, good guy.
Salt of the earth guy.
Yeah.
Like, best one. So I'm like 9 years old. We get paired up with him randomly at Glenview Golf Course. And I'm telling him, like, who my heroes are. Like, I love Dick Vitale. I love Lee Corso. Kirk Herbstreit just came on the scene.
Yeah.
All these guys at ESPN, I'm like just ripping them off. And he's, some 9-year-old dumb. Like, but he took my, like you could tell, like I was talking about, he was a super cool guy. But I knew I didn't want to be in journalism, but I want to be in like TV broadcasting.
Yeah.
Because like I said, Dick Vitale, grew up watching college basketball with my grandpa. He did like all the Kentucky games. It felt like back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. So that was like my first one. Flash forward to like, I don't know, 13, 14 years old. Started becoming a little more practical. I was like, I want to be a lawyer. And I don't know where it like came from. I can't pinpoint I know where my broadcasting stuff comes, like listening to Dick Vitale and all that stuff and watching ESPN like nonstop as a kid. But I don't know where that came from. But I quickly realized how much I did not like to read.
Yeah.
And realized
tough for you.
And realized that was not going to be the job for me.
Yeah.
But I did. I wanted to be a lawyer. I think I saw the side of like the not reading side. And I'm like, I love arguing with people. So that's why I wanted to be one. But I knew very quickly that, oh, wow, like lawyers have to read hundreds and hundreds of pages a day. This is not going to be for me.
Yeah.
And I tout that I've only read like 9 books in my entire life.
Oh, God.
I wear that on my sleeve as a badge of honor.
That's not good. 9 books? Ooh.
I think it's like 8 or 9. One of them's Animal Farm, my favorite book, by the way.
Animal Farm's good.
It's a great book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to be a lawyer.
That doesn't shock me either.
And I think it was more just like the arguing stuff. Like I wanted to be able to like have an argument with somebody.
the two things that, coincide with both of those is obviously the whole debate side of it, right?
Yeah.
So embrace debate. And the other side is just, you don't shut the fuck up. So, like, you got to be able to talk.
I didn't see where mine fell in, like, this grid that
Yeah.
Because when I kind of narrowed it down, I obviously knew your journalism side, but, like, when I started thinking science and I kind of looked it up, but I didn't look up mine, but I would probably say, like, a lawyer's, like, a type A personality, right? Like, that's...
Yeah.
They come in the room and you're just like, God damn it, like, this fucking guy's here, I'm not going to be able to say a word.
Yeah.
Kind of person,
I don't know. This doesn't go with, like, the whole grid you're probably talking about, but I think the thing that sticks out about you for me is your interpersonal relationship skills. And that obviously plays into what you do today. And then also, like, dude, you're the guy that walks in anywhere and you will make friends with whoever the fuck it is.
Yeah, the joke is in my family, is, like, at least with Danielle, is she was like, you have talked to me written on your forehead.
Yeah.
And the problem is I'm not the person that's like, oh, I'm not going to talk to you. Like, I'll talk to them.
Yeah.
And she says I probably agree with this. She says one day it's going to get me killed. Possibly. And not from, like, me saying something. I'm just going to, like, end up in a conversation with the guy that's, like, about to blow something up. And then, like, I become friends with him. I don't want to leave his side.
Good God.
That's my problem.
I will say,
everywhere we go, I end up talking to, like, it is what it is.
I inevitably, anytime that we're out and about, me and you, large group, just us, whatever, I inevitably end up either talking to someone I never in my life would have talked to, or just, like, in a place that I never would have wound up in my life.
That's what I'm here for.
That's your superpower. Yeah. You push me past my limits. Let's put it that way.
And I swear I look at it from, like, our group standpoint. Other than Nick will ride with anybody.
Yeah.
But, like, Ryan, dude, super uncomfortable in social situations. He's kind of like you.
Yeah, but I think I'm not as awkward as he is.
No.
I don't necessarily want to be
Gump
there, but
can
I'm
ride
fine
with anybody
being there.
too.
Yeah.
Like, those two can. But you and Ryan are like, I'm sure I get you guys in the situations that you would prefer not to be in.
Yeah, I'm always cool being in the situation. I would just never get there on my own. That's the thing.
Exactly.
That's my thing.
Nick was talking to the grandparents of that kid from North Carolina when we were at the golf tournament.
Yeah, for God's sakes, you're making best friends with Steven Stalling Jr.'s mom and dad. He's talking
about the Taylor Swift concert.
This Nick's over there talking to, grandma and grandpa for this kid from North Carolina, and I'm just like, good God.
Well, I told you that question would be harmless. Yeah. I think it does. A good one. I think it really is a good question to figure out, like, because we're all kids in our head, right? Even when you're an adult, you're still a kid.
Yeah.
And I don't think you change much from that kid, regardless of what people think. So I thought that was a really good question.
No, that's great. That was awesome.
Very harmless.
I think mine's harmless too. Don't know if there's any psychoanalysis involved, but this actually, shout out to Tron and Randy. It was from the Trap Draw a couple weeks back. A couple of our NLU boys. Tron asked, what's something that you wish you liked but you don't?
Like, you can be anything?
Sure. I mean, there's some obvious avenues to go down, but...
Like, the first thing that came to me is, like, food.
Yep.
But that's too easy. Man, I wish I liked cars more.
Damn, that's a really good answer.
Like,
truly.
I wish I was more of a car guy. And I say this all the time. I think we talked about, like, when you win the lottery, like, I wouldn't even buy a car. I've never had, like, a car where I was like, oh, if I ever have an X amount of money, I'm going to buy this car. I've never been that way. I think cars are cool, but I'm not like, oh, this has this engine in it, and this is why I want this car, or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I know so many people that are car guys, and they're like, this car's got the 4.2, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're speaking gibberish to me.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what you're talking about. And on the other side of this, I wish I could fix my own car.
Yeah.
Is why I wish I was a car guy.
Massive life skills. Yeah.
That's the big one that popped out to me, like, other than food, was being a car guy. Because I feel like there's so many car guys out there. Even the people you don't think are car guys are car guys.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Because I have no aspirations of owning any type of like luxury car. I don't have a specific car that I would buy if I had unlimited amounts of money.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like that. I wish I did. I wish I knew enough about them to be able to that. Honorable mention, I wish I liked pickles. Like,
this still blows my mind. This is
I
absurd.
love the smell of them. It's a texture thing for me.
But you eat fried pickles.
I do, but those are not the same. You can't. That'd be like anything fried is better. Like,
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
anything that I don't like fried would be probably somewhat tolerable.
Yeah.
Or anything I don't like fried fried would be tolerable.
Yeah.
But I think pickles would be the one that I think it's a universal snack for a lot of people.
Pickles are great.
They go on things. You can eat them just as a snack, and I can't. Like, the thought of like eating a full dill pickle as a snack grosses me the fuck out.
See, I'm not a fan of whole pickles like that either. Like that, something about that just seems inhumane.
Or just eating like pickled chips or something like that. Like,
yeah, they're good.
Can't do that.
Good.
Grosses me out.
So my initial lean-to was also with like food and drink. It's not that I don't like this, but I wish I liked it to the point where I like understood it, and it's kind of like your car thing. Wine.
Oh my god! So okay.
Because like I want to like wine and like understand it and know it and like be able to like tell the differences between all those different. But like it's such a mystery world to me. I'm truly like Michael Scott. Like this is a white. Like
so I was in that boat, but during COVID, I became a bit of a wino. I've kind of backed off of it a little bit. It became a very expensive habit to have.
Yeah.
But I kind of became a wino. Shout out to Sherry, who I work with.
Uh-huh.
We used to have wine parties at her house during COVID. Like we'd go over, like 3 of us would go over there that had been seeing each other.
Sure.
We'd go over there and everybody'd bring a bottle of wine. So I became I started trying all these different wines.
Mm-hmm.
I still to this day have a list of wines that I love, like that I've tried over there or tried because, Devin, who I work with too, is like, oh, you need to try this one. I'll go try it. But I was in the same boat. I'm like, I don't know the difference between a Cab and a Pinot,
I mean, I know it's grapes or whatever, and
yeah,
but like, there's so much that goes into making wine. Like, I got heavy into bourbon a while back and still enjoy it, and like I, understand the distilling process and all that stuff now. Like, I wish I was that fluent with wine where I could like go into a wine shop and like pick out something that goes great with X meal or Y meal or whatever,
or just be like, I like red blends, or like I like a less dry Cabernet.
Yeah, I don't even know what I like. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I will say this: it does take a lot. I've probably had over 150 different wines at this point, and I'm pretty much narrowed down to like what I know I like. Mm-hmm. And it takes 100 to 150 different wines before you figure out what you like. And you may not like any of them, to be 100% honest with you.
I just don't know that I've given it a fair shake. I think I need to.
You do.
Okay.
That's our goal over the next year, is to just dip your toe into some wine. I mean, I'll tell you where
it's a universal beverage, right? Like
the first wine that I had that, and again, it was when I played. I had no idea about wines, like at this point, and I tried it, and it was really good. I actually had it when I played Muirfield, and we had like a dinner afterwards. This guy just went to like Napa, and he was like, "Oh, this wine's amazing. Do you have this?" And she brought it out. It was Prisoner, which is a red blend. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is not that bad. Like, I kind of like this. And then I went to the Kroger, and I was like, holy shit, it's $50 a bottle. What the fuck? It's like, this wine thing's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
And then I had like a break, and then during COVID, I just became a wino and tried a bunch of different stuff and figured out what I liked. And it, just like bourbon, what you'll find out, and we're going to get your toe dipped into it, because I have enough wine in my basement that we can dip your toe into it at no cost. Just like bourbon, just because it's $70 does not mean it's going to be better than the $12 bottle of
Exactly.
wine.
These are the things I need to know. Yeah.
Early on in my wino stage, I just assumed if it's $80, it's probably good.
Yeah.
And then Snoop Dogg came out with a wine, and that is
God.
legitimately better than most $80 to $90 bottle of wines I've ever had, and it's like $14.
Well, there you go.
Well, we're gonna get you into it.
Snoop knows what's up.
We're gonna start you out where I started. We're gonna give you some Prisoner.
Okay.
Next week,
Whatever.
I'm bringing a bottle of Prisoner in.
We're popping
And we're
corks
gonna
now
pop it,
instead
and you're gonna
tabs.
let.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm here for it.
I feel like people judge you if you don't know enough about wine.
Yeah, I need to be wine literate. I just feel at this stage of my life, I need to be wine literate.
And you guys were all laughing at me at Gunt's birthday party this year.
Do I need to tell you
when
this,
the guy
tell the
brought it
story?
out and he didn't even need to tell me how much it cost, and I looked at the bottle and said, "I'm good,"
Yeah.
because I knew it was a $2,000 bottle of wine. I'm like, no chance.
Oh my God, that's such a good story. I got to get someone else's perspective on who to tell that. We might need to bring Gunth back just for that story. Oh man! All right, that was a nice little patio beer session there. That was good.
Really good.
Closing it out with some housekeeping. We haven't asked for anything for a while. Let's get some subscriptions to the podcast. Let's get some reviews up there. That helps us out, gets us rated higher, bumps us up in searches and all that fun stuff.
And you know what? Give us a fucking 1-star. I don't care. Just give us a review.
No, I would prefer 5-star.
I mean, I would prefer 5, but if you want to leave a 1-star and you leave something funny in the comment section, I will find that just as pleasing.
Okay. I'll find it displeasing, but that's fine. I mean, look, we're doing all this organically and, whatever, just for fun right now, but it's awesome to see, when we're seeing like 50 people have listened to an episode every time we release something. Yep. Super cool. So thank you to everybody that listens to all these.
And seeing the numbers grow. I remember when we first started, we were like, if we can get like 4 people to listen, we're going to be so happy. And it's just like, it's grown and it's all organic. And that's what I love about it. We're not running Facebook ads. Like we could, we could. But I think the genuine growth from people that we really, really like and we care about, and I know care about us, I think that's been the coolest part.
Yeah.
And I remember telling someone this I was playing like on a Saturday, or no, I was playing on a Friday. Guy was asking me about the podcast and stuff like that. And I was like, he's like, so what do you get out of it? And I was like, well, 1, we have fun. And I said, 2, if it just draws more members into the Hamilton Elks, I'll be a happy guy. Like if it just if it brings more people in and makes people more aware about how awesome our golf club is, if that's the least we get out of it, great. But I was like, I think that genuine, like people that actually care about us and that organic growth, that's been the most fun part for me.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, for me, there's, like we've talked about before, I'm not the most outgoing person. There's plenty of people at the club that come up to me that I haven't or would not have talked to probably otherwise that come talk to me about this stupid thing that we do.
Yeah.
And it's a connection point, and, it's been a way for me to meet more people.
Yep.
So
yeah, exactly. So
super cool. And with that said, follow us on social media as well.
Yeah.
Instagram is mainly where we are, but we do have Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, we need to get back on Twitter.
Twitter's such it's so, X now, I guess, but my God, I'm going to call it Twitter.
I was like, where did my Twitter app go?
Yeah.
And then I clicked, I'm like, what is this X thing I clicked on? I was like, oh shit, it's Twitter.
Yeah. So, it's so hard to get into it because it's like such a developed and like mature
It's a very mature platform. Yep.
So, but anyway, yeah, follow us there as well. And then we still have hats, of course, $25 for the navy or the white with a 9 emblem on it, and $35 if you're into the Patio Beers rope hat. So,
yeah, buy them. Again, we don't make any money off this stuff. We just do it for the love of it.
Yeah, hopefully to build a little community of like-minded golf fanatics. So
yeah, and I do want to say one thing. I think we're gonna have another giveaway here soon.
Sick. Let's do it
for the Queen City Championship, which is in about a month.
Oh hell yeah!
LPGA.
We got to go to that.
Anybody in the even if you're not in the Cincinnati area, if you're even close, there's not a lot of LPGA tournaments that hit around this area. And honestly, within, I say, like 150-mile area of where we're at in Cincinnati, come out to it. It is phenomenal. And if you have kids, you definitely need to take your kids out there. It's 100% different than a PGA Tour tournament. The women are unbelievable with fans. Just completely understanding and compassionate and engaging with all the fans. It's a great. That was my first LPGA Tour event last year when I went to this event, and I was like, I'm coming back every year.
Yeah, they get a pretty good feel for it. We can go check out the spots where you almost died during the USAM.
We could walk back on.
Yeah, we could go like, I don't know, in memoriam or something.
Yeah, and I can reenact it or whatever.
We can do a reenactment of you stretching your back out.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
it'd be great.
But we'll have we are going to have another giveaway. I've got a package of tickets that I'm not going to be able to use all of them, so
sweet.
We'll give some away.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll figure something out with that.
But you got to be following us on Instagram. That's the one rule.
Follows, subscriptions, reviews, all of that.
Yep.
We'll figure it out, though.
Yep.
All right, man.
All
we'll
right.
see you at the McGonigal. Cheers.
Yep. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Back 9 Six-Pack. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Back 9 Six-Pack for all your content needs. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.